What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I have for you guys the longest video of this series. This is part 3 of the Building My USB-C Open Championships 2025 Arsenal, and I'm kind of putting 3 parts together into one. First reason for that is because I've been slacking, and I'm thinking about how many days I have available to film, and I'm running out of them, so I'm going to kind of compact 3 videos into one. So longer video for you guys, whether you like that or not, that's what you're getting. And 2, as you saw in the title, it's called the transition, and the transition can manifest itself in many different ways and require many different solutions, balls, releases, things like that. So I've got many iterations of balls that would kind of solve, hopefully, the transition. So I've got some weaker blend solid asyms here. I've got your strong symmetrics, your quote-unquote benchmarks. I've got some cleaner cover slash pearl slash hybrid asymmetric balls here, and that's kind of the extent of the transition. And then I've got a Typhoon here, which is it's going to make it to the final video until I get to throw that ultimate wrecker, which I don't have yet, so hopefully I get that soon. The ultimate wrecker, I will test it a little bit and see if it makes it into the final video for potential arsenal building, because that ball actually kind of makes sense as my bottom of the bag kind of ball. But I'm just going to pan the camera over here to the bowling balls that we have at our disposal. So here we go. Here are the 8 bowling balls that I have out today. That's a lot of shots I'm going to be throwing, but they're in no particular order because I was actually getting warmed up with some of them. So they came back in whatever order they did, but we'll just start from the right, I guess. I've got a down Rockstar, which I've become very fond of very quickly. Full transparency, it is one of the favorites to go as well. But we're doing this testing because, you know, we got to test. Origin EX, as you may have seen on the playoff telecast, being thrown by pretty much every SPI staffer. Ball is quickly becoming one of my preferred balls, which is a little bit heartbreaking because we have an XL right there that I just drilled. If you follow me on Instagram, you like that Pro CG, you would have seen it there. I'm having some difficulty deciding between those two because, as you guys know, I really like this ball. But starting to really like this ball, especially for something like Open Championships. Then I've got a very tall pin Sublime Focus right here. Another kind of experimental ball that I was trying to drill specifically for Open Championships. These were the 2 that I drilled specifically for Open Championships. And this one is just kind of turning out a little bit better, but I'll let you guys see it. And I've actually never tested them next to each other, so maybe we'll learn some today. But I've got my original Origin as a cleaner cover asymmetric ball. Cover's not actually all that clean, it's actually very strong, but that one's got a very strong chance of going to the final video, at least because of how slick they seem to be over at Open Championships. And then in that same category, the Jason Belmonte Identity, 2 balls honestly that are kind of similar. Identity's a little bit weaker, so it's going to be a little bit quicker down the lane, a little bit cleaner. And then another ball that's been a favorite of mine since it came out, the Attention Star S2. And as you can see, it's pretty shiny. It's got some power edge on it. So those are the 3 in that kind of cleaner cover asim category. And then obviously the TV Bowling Supply Special, the Typhoon there. And those are the 8 balls that are going to be going down the lane today. And we're going to kind of figure out which ones are going to go to Open Championships. I'm going to do some strong eliminations today and make some fairly final decisions, just because having all of them out here just feels like a time where I can do that. So 4 out of the 8 of these are going to make it into the bag. Well, 3 out of 8, depending on that ultimate wrecker. But so far, Typhoon's got the nod. But we'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to start with, I'm going to start with the Sublime Focus and then go to the Rockstar and let you guys kind of see the shape difference. And I'm going to kind of talk about why I'm preferring the Rockstar shape specifically for Open Championships. And I wanted to get to this before I forget. A lot of people in the last video said, hey, you should bring the Hyperdrive because it looked really good. And I think I briefly said it in the video, but I'm not trying to find balls that are going to be good specifically right now, because the Raising Cane's Convention Center is not going to play anything like this bowling center here. So I got to try and put my mind over there with what I think and what I've seen on videos about what's going to happen over there. So I'm not necessarily looking for the ball that's going to strike the most right now. Otherwise, I'll end up with 6 balls that look really good at HP on titanium in May. So keep that in mind. When I'm testing these balls, I'm testing to see how these 6 balls will fit together and what I think I can do with them. So they're not necessarily all gonna strike here, but I gotta compartmentalize and really figure out how they're gonna fit together. So here we go, Sublime Focus. See, now you guys are gonna think Sublime Focus, it should definitely go. It did look incredible, but it's just having thrown it on a different pattern at a different time. I know that because that buffer's so short, like this is a, I think 5 1/4 inch pin with an 1.5 inch buffer. Again, I was just experimenting, trying to see something. It gets going forward very quick. So when it gets into that transition, it could look good for a couple shots. And then if I move just the slightest bit left, it gets going very fast, flat 10s very easily. So it's not the most versatile thing in the world. And honestly, for me, I want a little bit of versatility out of the quote unquote benchmark ball, the solid, symmetric, strong cover, low RG, high diff ball, because that is typically a ball that you can do a lot of things with. So I'm gonna go to the Rockstar right now. The new pin down one you would have seen in the ladder challenge video. If you watched that, it looked pretty darn good. So this is something that's got a little bit more of an even arc to it. Something I feel like I can throw a little bit slower, move a little bit left, and it has a marginally better chance of striking, just because the hook phase is quite a bit longer. And if anything, like if I need something that needs to be a little more hookable, that's what those cleaner asyms are for. So I'm just looking for something that's gonna fit my eye. Didn't strike with any of those, but as you can see, that Rockstar's a bit earlier and a little more of a progressive hook. That is because it is that 4 inch pin down layout that I use, the 4 by 5.5 by 3 7/8. So it's 1.25 inches stronger than the Sublime Focus. That hook phase is gonna be a little bit longer, but it is gonna be earlier because that pin is in such a strong position compared to the Sublime Focus. So I think that one I'll be able to get into it earlier and be able to use a little bit longer if I do have to get out of, let's say, urethane or that Ion Max that I'm probably gonna bring. Visually here, in my eyeballs, it feels better. Right now, if I wanted to strike a lot, I'd probably throw that Sublime Focus because this is a long pattern, it's 44 feet. So a shorter buffer makes sense. A little bit of a educational tidbit for you guys. Longer patterns, you're gonna have a lot less space for your ball to hook. So you want something that's gonna transition a little quicker. You don't necessarily need a lot of surface. You just need something that's gonna transition a little bit quicker to make up for that small amount of space that you have for the ball to hook. That's why the Sublime Focus is probably looking a lot better right now. But I'll mull it over. I'll think about it as we throw the next few balls, because I gotta think about how these balls are all gonna complement each other. And that is the issue I'm kind of running into when I get into these next two, which are gonna be the XL and the Origin EX. So I'm gonna go with the XL next, Pro CG. This is a layout I don't normally use. This is 4 by 5 by 2 1/4. And this one was drilled specifically to be a lot rounder and to kind of marry the fact that this has got a clean cover with a strong layout, so I can maybe get a little bit straighter on surfaces that aren't quite as new. Honestly, this one was drilled more for the summer series, not for the for Open Championships, where those lane beds are gonna be pretty fresh. So I'm just gonna throw it. This one's gonna feel a lot more like the Rockstar rather than the Sublime Focus. And then you'll see the Origin EX after that, how much more length that one gives me. So today is actually the first day I've ever thrown that ball. I need to throw that ball and the Rockstar next to each other to see if they're different enough. Because I know already that the Origin EX and the Rockstar are different enough, because the Origin has that 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 by 3 1/4 layout on it, so it's got a longer pin, cleaner cover. I know for sure it's clean enough, but that XL is gross. I'm just gonna go through all the balls first, and then I'll do that test after. But Origin EX, 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. More of a hookable layout, as I would say, just because the longer pin gives a little bit of energy retention, but I'm just gonna stay in the same place. My footing's been awful today, but we'll get it together. Not my greatest attempt. I'm actually throwing it quite awful today. But you can kind of see how much slower is not the word I want to use, how much more delayed the Origin is as far as it straightening out compared to the XL. XL you can tell pretty easy because those logos are yellow, contrasting with the all blue ball. That may have just swayed my thinking a little bit there. But again, I got to go through and test the Rockstar and the XL next to each other, because that XL shape-wise, visually, is exactly what I want to see. Another thing I can do too is I can make sure that the Rockstar has a lot more surface on it, because the Rockstar should be earlier just because it has a stronger cover. So throw the XL a little bit more, let it lane shine, and then hit the Rockstar with some surface. And they should separate enough, but we'll save that conversation for about 15 minutes from now. I'm gonna get into the cleaner asymmetrics. We're gonna start with the strongest one, and it's actually got a little bit of surface on it. It's the original Origin. I mentioned this one will probably look the best right now. This is the first Origin I've ever drilled. I really like it. I think this ball is incredible. Very hookable, but we're probably gonna have to move it a little bit left just because it's quicker response. Whoa. Another pretty bad one there at the end, but that one, out of these 3 of the cleaner ASIMs I have the most confidence that it's gonna slow down. On the flip side of that, it's gonna be the one that's the closest reaction-wise to the Rockstar and either the XL or the Origin EX, whichever one I choose, because it has a stronger cover stock, even though it is a hybrid. So I have to make sure, if I decide on that one, that it's not too close. But in a 3-game set, I think it'll be all right. I don't know. But I'm gonna throw the Identity from the same spot, see what we get. It should be quite a bit quicker. This one's like right in the middle between the Origin and the S2. It's a combination of the slightly weaker core than the Origin, but stronger cover than the S2, but not as strong as the Origin. I got a nice little progression of clean ASIMs here. That may have just sealed the deal there. I don't want to admit it on camera, because I hope there's a lot of people that watch this video. There probably aren't, but I like that ball a lot. I like the ball a lot. Don't tell Jason that. But the only thing I was worrying about that ball is that it was a little too clean and too quick, which is something I could fix with an Admiral pad, so I'm not really sure why I was worried about that anyways. But there, it was just round enough, but it never didn't see the 8-pin, so I'm just gonna throw the S2. I think I've already made up my mind on the clean ASIM, but this is a ball I really like because it's really good at blending cliffs, which is not something I really anticipate seeing at Open Championships, maybe in doubles and singles, but house shots, fantastic. This ball goes everywhere on a house shot tournament for me. So just gonna throw it. It's not quite as strong in the middle part of the lane as the Identity. Oh boy. It just doesn't read quite as early as the Identity, but the shape is fantastic. It's very round, very progressive. Maybe I just make this easier by bringing them both into the final video like I originally was doing with the other parts of this video, and then figure out in the last video. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm not gonna take the origin, just to give me that bit of separation that I can kind of close with an Abralon pad anyways. And then I can figure out between identity and S2 from there, but I don't have anything to compare the Typhoon against, so I'm just gonna throw it once just for your viewing pleasure, because I think everybody on the TV Bowling Supply channel has become a fan of it. Like I said, until we get the ultimate record to test against it, this one's probably going. Typhoon, you guys already know. But like I said, I'm going to go back and test the XL and Rockstar next to each other, see if we can create a big enough difference between the two. If not, Origin EX is probably gonna be the one instead of XL, but we'll see. And this pattern being a little bit easier is not making this any easier, because with that defined hook spot to the right, it brings the balls a little bit closer together. We're gonna move left of the Rockstar. So you see they're kind of hooked in the middle part of the lane. Super smooth, just because it's pinned down, that hook face gets really long. We're gonna see if we can find a big enough discernible difference between that and the XL. So what I'm looking for specifically is this ball to get down the lane a little bit further and be a little bit more aggressive on the back end. That one went pretty straight through the pins with the Rockstar, so that's the difference I'm looking for between that ball and this kind of ball here. Cleaner cover, bit more weight block, see what we get. Jalen's back there, what do you think? That one? Or do you want to see the Origin in the same spot?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna throw the Origin in the same spot, see what we can get. But that cleaner cover, bigger weight block, it's gonna give me a little bit more push through the front and the middle part of the lane. But with that 4-inch pin, pin up especially, that ball's flaring quite a lot, I'll show you. Those lines are separating quite a bit. So EX in the same spot. It's just a bigger difference between the two. Let me throw the XL again. But just to compare, like the flare, look how much tighter that is, because the 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 with the longer buffer as well. So we're pretty firm on the Rockstar going. That's not up for debate. That one's got some peel to it. That was right quick, so it made it look like it hooked a lot, but she's got some peel. I'm actually gonna move another like section to the left, get a little slower, and if it makes the corner, that's the one we're taking. All right, so we're gonna go like 4 left off of that. Remember, this is 44 feet, so we got a bit of soup in the middle, so not really confident that if I get it a little bit left, that it's gonna turn the corner really good, but if it does, then good for us. You know what, that's good enough for me. XL Rockstar going, and we're gonna do additional testing in the final video with the Identity and the Attention Star S2, because we like them both. If it was Jalen's choice, he would make me take the Identity, but it's not his choice, it's mine. And then Typhoon, we're gonna see in the final video as well, along with the Ultimate Wrecker. I'm gonna drill 2 of them, a pin up and a pin down, see which one I like more, and kind of see which one marries into the arsenal a little bit better, because the Typhoon is a bit further away from the rest of the balls, but I was gonna fix that with an Abralon pad anyways. But that's it, guys. That was a lot of testing for me. I'm a little sweaty. Hope you guys have enjoyed this series so far. If you guys have, please hit that like button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what else kind of Arsenal related videos you guys would like to see. And then hit that subscribe button. Half of you guys are not subscribed. And as you regular viewers know, once we get to 50,000 subscribers, we're gonna give something away, probably a bowling ball. Maybe a new pair of the racers. Who knows? We got to get there for you to figure it out. But that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for part 4, the final part, deciding what we take. Again, we are bowling on May 30, 31st, 29th, 30th, 30, 31st. I think the 30 and 31st. So If you guys are in the Baton Rouge area, the 30th and the 31st, we are bowling those days. So that's all I got for you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.